It concerns the loss of the sail and spars of the dinghy which formed part of the hire of Royal Ambassador, and the infestation of flies on the boat over the first 3 days, that continued in lesser form for the remainder of the week's hire. Specifically, this letter, concerns the shabby and spurious arguments employed by your director Daniel in seeking to offset the costs and consequences of the two events to avoid any kind of compensation or recompense for the fly infestation. Insert in a most unsympathetic manner between Daniel and in seeking. In my opinion, Director Daniel's arguments were shabby because he was dealing with 4 old-age pensioners seeking to enjoy an end-of-season holiday together that was marred by the fly infestation. The more substantive arguments, though, concern the costs involved in the two issues. According to my father and his friends, the dinghy and its gear were at least 10 years old. There's nothing wrong in that, but it would mean that the cost oblique present day value would have been written off at least 5 years ago. Moreover, the replacement would have been covered by Brink's insurance insert. If not, costs involved in wear, tear and loss of minor items would have been included as a contingency in your annual accounts. That Brinks choose not to make a claim because of the excess on their insurance is solely their concern. The main point, though, is that we, as hirers, include in our hire rate a premium which covered us for all loss and damage, for all non-negligent loss and damage to Royal Ambassador and its fittings, so that while the loss occurred on their watch, as it were, they were not negligent, so were not liable for any direct charge for the loss. The matter of the fly infestation is another matter. Brinks may not be negligent in how they prepared Royal Ambassador for hire, employing all reasonable skill, care and diligence in the process, but as a result of what was probably wanton behaviour on the part of previous hirers by disposing of previous fishing hirers by disposing of surplus maggots in the bilge of Royal Ambassador, it left the boat certainly not, quotes, fit for purpose when it was hired out subsequently. The flies represented not only a nuisance, an inconvenience to subsequent hirers, but were a potential health hazard. Your engineer, Greg, did all he reasonably could. Engineer Greg, brackets, who I may add appears to have been a credit to Brinks, close brackets, did all he reasonably could to remove the remaining maggots and to fumigate the boat over the third and fourth days of hire. In that we were grateful for that. In that my father and his friends were grateful. But Greg's actions did not thereby remove Brink's responsibility for the problem in the first instance. Paragraph. In the course of his discussion with my father, Director Daniel sought to offset the estimated cost, open brackets, of £600 for replacement of the sail and its spars with a potential voucher for perhaps 2 days of a further holiday by my father's party with Brinks. Open brackets. Director Daniels actually first made mention of such compensation. Close brackets. The matter of the actual financial cost to Brinks and our liability of the loss and our liability for it, of the sails and spans and our liability for it, I've dealt with above. Semicolon. The matter of the cost and benefit to Brinks of a possible 2-day voucher for a future holiday is yet another matter. By my father's reckoning, at this time of the year, about 30% of your hire fleet is lying idle in your yard. Doubtless you have allowed for this in your hire charges, but the marginal cost to Brinks, therefore, of hiring us a boat for a week at the same time of year at a reduced charge is negative. Semicolon. That is, apart from the overhead costs, it would represent in reality pure profit to Brinks. The cost to my father and his friends, such a consideration does not apply to my father and his friends. The fly infestation, the effects of the fly infestation represent a real loss of amenity to them, which cannot be offset at this time. As it is, my father and his friends, it is extremely unlikely that my father and his friends will hire a boat again from Brinks, and, while not actively publicising the matter, will not recommend to friends and family who may wish to go on the Broads to hire from Brinks. Thus, by behaving like an itinerant huckster with catchpenny business methods, Director Daniel's attitude has led to Brinks being the loser on 2 counts, namely, to their business reputation by falsely claiming my father and his party were financially liable for the loss of the sails and spars, and 2, by the loss of goodwill and a future revenue from my father, his friends and acquaintances, Stop. My father is not a vindictive man, and despite my exhortations to the contrary, will not, as mentioned above, publicise this incident in the press or in any chat forum. Stop. Rather, he hopes that you will take note of this letter and adopt a different approach to hirers in the future who may experience similar issues, and thereby uphold the reputation for and our experience of the kindness and welcoming spirit of Norfolk folk otherwise. Yours sincerely, David Jones, for and on behalf of Lee Jones.